So thank you for today coming on. You're one of my favourite builders. In fact, you're one of my top builders, and we've been doing business for many, many years. Hence, investing with 10 properties within your company. So I definitely believe in Golden Grove.
Yeah.
And would like to, obviously, when you know something's good, you want to share that with your clients. So can you just tell me a little bit about Golden Grove?
Certainly. Golden Grove Building Group is the umbrella, I suppose, the company. Then within that, we have Golden Grove Homes, who build investment properties. Golden Grove Projects, who build townhouse developments, multi-unit sort of product, retirement villages, that sort of thing. And then we have Inspired Living by Golden Grove, who work with owner-occupiers and first home buyers, sort of more customised homes. So the three different banners to the business, and all work in similar construction methodology, but across different markets.
So very, very established in the building industry with a lot of wisdom and knowledge as well.
Yeah.
How long have you been working in Golden Grove?
I've been here in February, will be 5 years. I've known Dave Fabro, the owner of the business, for 10 or 15 years. I've worked with him in a few different spaces. He has a lot of experience and a lot of dealings in land development and land sales, which is where I first met him. And then in more recent times, I was working with the company externally for about 3 or 4 years before then coming inside and being actually employed by Golden Grove. So working with the business for a long time, and Dave even longer, and employed by Golden Grove will be 5 years in February.
Yeah. And just a little bit, I mean, how would you, I think David is an amazing businessman. He's very humble, very astute. And I think I've just watched him grow over the years, and he definitely knows to stay in his lane. And he, to me, from the outside, he is, he's a very, very astute businessman, because in the building game, it's very expensive, and you've got time, to build. So you've got to do your due diligence on your projects and know what you're capable of doing. So
yeah, that's right.
How would you describe David as a business owner?
Yeah, well, the business itself, I suppose, is unique compared to the majority of builders, I would assume. Dave isn't a builder himself, not a licensed builder, doesn't try to be a builder. His background is in property and land development, and he's very good at running a business. So when he started Golden Grove, he employed key people that were very experienced in their field. And currently we've got Greg McGee, who's our general manager of Golden Grove. Extremely experienced, one of the most knowledgeable builders we've come across. And he runs the day-to-day, the operations and the mechanics of the building business. And then Dave can kind of sit to the side, still be heavily involved, but make more of those high-level business decisions. Because what we see a lot with builders is when they start off as builders, and then they might do 20 homes a year, then 50, and then 100, they start to become businessmen rather than builders, and they need to be able to make some pretty clever financial decisions along the way. Otherwise, it can head south pretty quickly. So having the unique setup there with Dave, obviously running still his land development side, and then the high level business and building operational decisions. And then Greg runs the actual finer cog works and the mechanics of the building company. So really unique setup, but it seems to be working extremely well.
Yeah, it does. And over the I think 10 years that I've been working with Golden Grove, he scaled a lot the business, and yet it's amazing how he's maintained that culture, serviceability. I mean, I'm a client, and you even though David has moved away, I used to talk to David on a daily basis, and then he transitioned. I think he had you by his side for like 2 years before he literally transitioned you into the role, so he's was it?
Yeah, about that. So yeah,
even though it feels like yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. The scale of the business has been interesting because we have done more and more. We've kind of got to a bit of a happy place now where we know we can build X amount of homes with the people that we've got in the areas that we want to be in. But we've definitely, I think when I came around, that we were doing about 80, 100 odd homes a year. Within a few, and then before I came inside the business, we sort of got up to 180, sort of 200-ish, and then now obviously in excess of 350, 400. But the methodology and the theory behind growing is we don't want to become one of those companies with, the big board of directors or, very hard to communicate and very mechanical and robotic. We still want to be the small business mentality. So people like yourself or your clients, can call up my mobile, talk to me. You talk to Dave all the time. And if we need to make a business decision, we go sit with Dave, we talk to Dave, we make the call. Doesn't have to go to a board of directors and voting and all that. So we keep that running right through the business. Every person that communicates with a client, it's as if they are their only client, and it's a very personal touch. And we're very very hesitant to go down that robotic, mechanical, systematic sort of process. We are obviously putting those in place, and we have them in place to streamline the efficiencies of the business, but we also need it to be personal still. I've got a bunch of your personal clients' mobile numbers in my phone, and they call me directly, which
I sure do.
Something that I can't say any other group has got, but still there to take those calls and just get the job done and assist them how we can. And if we make our sort of, hasn't been our billboard banner, but the way that Dave's kind of run the business is, if we can make everyone's life that works with us, if we make their life easier, they'll continue to do work with us. So that's kind of the underlying mantra, which seems to benefit us, benefit the clients, benefit yourself, benefit everyone. If we're all doing everything we can to make everyone's life easier, everybody wins.
I think, one of the most important things, and my parents were in business, and I was raised, if you're going to do a job, just do it properly and provide a service. And I definitely feel that old-fashioned mentality is definitely there with you guys, and I think one of the most important things for people who are new and watching this and thinking, they're thinking of using Unlock Your Financial Future and Golden Grove as a builder, is that it's not only so important throughout the process, and other webinars will see how communication is key for all of us in our business, but providing that personal service afterwards as well. And Fletch, you are always able to assist, and if there's any queries, you'll go to that division within Golden Grove, and you'll always help, and within a timely manner. There's I've just find the service is incredible, and you also are very attentive to my clients, their needs, their wants, and obviously when you're thinking an investment product, it's everything to the inclusions, to the valuations, to the style of the property, to the area. You're very, very, very well informed. You inform me very well, so I can inform the client, which is brilliant.
Yeah, well, I suppose the background, or the advantage of having the background with, Dave's got a long background of land development and land sales, and myself, I've been through, I suppose, valuation, land development, and land acquisitions for development companies. So kind of get a really good grasp on where, like for investment purposes, where people want to be, what's happening, and even if people don't know about it yet, gathering those facts so you can inform people about why or what's happening in that area so they can make an informed decision. So focusing on doing all that homework up front puts us in a better place, because we know what we're doing, whether it be a land development or purchasing blocks ourselves. We know there's going to be demand in those areas. So the homework that we do before we commit to something is the same homework that we pass on to you guys and your clients, because it's why we want to be there to do a land development or to buy land ourselves. is the exact same reason why your investors would want to be there. So
absolutely. And I remember, Dave, standard joke where pretty much, you know, where I was buying, he was buying as well, or he was buying, I was buying. So not only will I buy for my investors where I'm recommending, but so does Dave as well. You know, he's got a lot of properties in the areas that he's suggesting, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
So I suppose for a potential client looking at this webinar, how long have you actually been working with UYFF? And what's the relationship been like?
Personally, I've been working with yourself since I've been at Golden Grove. So 5 years in February. Actually, I think.
Did you have to go back to a child there or a move to remember that, Fletch?
I was actually trying to think. I remember taking you when I first met you face to face. We jumped in the car with a client, maybe.
Oh, that was right. We did. Yes. We went to Mount Cotton, round there.
Yeah, and I don't think I was actually employed by Golden Grove. I think I was working with Dave at that point externally. So therefore, it would be longer than 5 years, I would say, that I've known you. Working with. How the relationship's going is it's efficient because there's not too much fluff. It's very factual, straight to the point, very informative. You know what? I suppose now we've been working together long enough that I know what you need, and so we can kind of provide that to you pretty swiftly. You are very clear in terms of what your clients are after and what they're looking for. And our general theory is to have something in all categories of investment property, whether it be a dual key property, a single dwelling, a completed product, be it a house or a dual key or a townhouse or something. We try and keep a wide spread of stock options so that when your clients do come through, you guys develop a strategy or they have a particular interest in a certain type of property, we generally have something for them. So we and when you do come to me with what the client's after, we definitely do or what will work for their strategy. We definitely have a very clear cut I suppose detail around what they need and where and how much and why and all that sort of stuff. So our relationship, I'd say, very, very clear, very efficient, and we know what each other are thinking.
We do.
There's no hiding the emotion.
And I also want to say, I remember in the start of really the self-managed super fund era, and it was because you can't have a construction loan to the actual product. Yeah. And David again realized that and came up with a model so the Unlock Your Financial Future clients could actually benefit from you guys actually securing the land, building the product, and delivering an unbelievable product for the client. So that's just one example.
Yeah, that strategy, it wasn't about us making any more or any less from a property. It was just seeing a demand in that space, putting together that financial mechanism for it to work, just so we could again provide another form of property or a higher volume of that property for clients. So yeah, we're just trying to service the client for whatever they need.
And just before the COVID hit, you just built some incredible townhouses in Yarra Bilba. They were just absolutely brilliant. The designs, the color scheme, and my clients went crazy on them for the self-managed super fund. So that was awesome what you built there.
Yeah, with the funds, we normally always try to keep. Everyone's got different capabilities, I suppose, at whatever stage of life they're at with super. So yeah, we always try and have a lower price point, or looking to invest more heavily with a higher volume and a bit more comfortable with it, can do a house or a dual key which might be 600 plus, or we often try and have a townhouse or a duplex unit which is somewhere around the 350 mark. So we try and just that product offering and do whatever we can to offer a wide scope so we'll have something for the client's needs.
Yeah, I think what's awesome about you as a builder as well is that you work with my broker. So it's very, very important when we've got a new area to test the valves, so we know exactly what areas to go into and what areas not to go into. So you actually do work really, really hard with the brokers to keep us all informed. And so we're not going into areas which we've got no idea what the bank valuation is going to be. So that's the client doesn't actually realize that's super important for me to have a builder that's going to be able to work with us as investors, because we've got no control over the valuations. And sometimes it can be a great area, but the valuer in that area is just not going to value it for certain reasons. So
it comes back to that us doing our homework for our purposes being the same intention for the client. So we'll go and do that valuation homework, we'll do the research, find out where the market is at in terms of valuations. So then when it gets right down to the final part of the process with the finance guys, we can pass on that information as to the best path to go down to get the best result.
Yeah. So what do you see as the main advantage in working with a team of wealth creation experts that specialize in their own industry? How do you see that a benefit to the client?
I would say the whole jack of all trades, king of none saying probably works pretty well. We as a builder focus on building. The building side of it, we put everything that we know into building, and we just stay in our lane, do that as well as we can. And then over years we have developed relationships with certain people like yourself, and work within those relationships that know what they're doing and do it well, because it just benefits everyone. When you have guys like your solicitors you work with, the brokers that you work with, the best in their fields, it just means that the client's getting the best service from the builder, yourself, the broker, the solicitor, all doing their own things very well. Means that it's going to benefit the client where it be timing, where it be cost, whatever it is, they will get the best outcome having the best team to work with. So yeah, we just focus on doing what we do and doing it well, and then conveniently working in with guys like yourself who are very good at doing what you do. The girls are very good at doing what they do. Solicitors are very good at doing what they do. So everyone's staying in their lane and sticking to their expertise and not trying to do little bits of everything and not doing any of it well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just did a webinar actually with a client that bought 2 properties, and they just gave me a referral, and they said, Jackie, we just couldn't have done it without you. It was so seamless. Everybody was brilliant. And then at handover, it was just, that was the bit they dreaded. But because the communication was there, your staff communicate with the property manager, they've got the dates of the defect reports.
Yep.
Many years ago, David actually encouraged me to do that. And so just in relation to the defect report, if you can just explain that to a new client coming on, what's
sure.
it?
So the process for the back end of our build is a lot of builders have a maintenance man, which will come back and fix defects. What that encourages is the supervisor to meet his time frame. So he'll just kind of smash through the home as fast as he can, pass the keys to Johnny, the maintenance man, and then he'll come back when he gets time, because he's doing all the different homes, to fix, paint touch-ups or the door or whatever it might be, a list of defects. So what we do is make our supervisors responsible for their own defects. So what that encourages is we'll build as fast as anyone, but the quality that we're doing it in, and having the supervisor responsible for their own defects means that it encourages them to do it right the first time. Do it well, do it right, do it quickly. because then at the back end of it, their KPIs are measured off an independent building report, which we do ourselves internally.
Okay.
How many defects are on that report is, their sort of targets and KPIs that they're set with. And then the second they come back, fix the paint or whatever it might be, we also put the landscaping down after the first inspection. So we'll shape it up, but we won't put the turf down just for a whole bunch of little things throughout our process, which we've tweaked over time. One of them being turf. If you put the turf down too early, who's going to be watering it? Haven't got a tenant. It might be a week or two till that happens, and the later you can put the turf in, the more chances of survival. So there'll be a few things in the defect report. The first one of them will always be landscaping because it's not there.
Yeah.
But the second build inspection is when they're coming back to make sure that everything has been complete. So at that second point, we invite yourself if you want to come, the clients if they want to come, the property manager, the supervisor who built the home will be there, and then the independent build inspector. So there's a full quiver of people, which are all focused around completing that home. So if the clients have got questions, technical questions, they can ask the supervisor, and they've got the independent building inspector as well. The property manager's there, everything's done, landscaping, all touch-ups are done. There's no defect stickers anywhere because all the items have been complete. So the property manager can be there with their photographer getting photos to put the property on the market 2 weeks before handover, or 10 days normally, because at that point they've still got an invoice to pay, and then there's the handover process. So they can get the property on realestate.com or wherever they're rented, start advertising it before they even have taken possession of the property, which just gives them that 2-week head start of marketing it, getting inquiry and filling that house and working as it's intended to work. So that whole tail end process just kind of ends the process on a high. If you're going in there to hand over the last inspection, the clients have flown up from Sydney or Melbourne or Perth or wherever they are. They've come to see their investment property. They've been getting the weekly updates of the photos and whatnot all week throughout the construction, but it's the first time they've seen the home. So if they're going into that property and there's stickers all over the place, there's taps that are on, it's just not a good experience. So for us to put a really high focus and high amount of attention on that back end, it's a more pleasurable experience, and they actually have enjoyed it. Our whole process is not over promising, under delivering. We communicate what will happen, and then we do that, and we do that each week all the way throughout the build. So the clients are pretty up to date with what's happening, but it's just a really nice way to finish it off. And sometimes you might have a client who is a painter or who is a carpenter, and they might have some technical questions that the property manager, myself, yourself can't answer. That's why I've got the supervisor and the building inspector there as well, so they can kind of tie it all off. And if there is something there, by all means, point it out and we'll fix it before handover. But generally, there is no defects at all at that second inspection. But the theory that we generally run with is, if a client can see it, it's a defect. We're not going to start quoting Australian standards. If there is a mark on a wall, the client can stand there and look at it. We can stand there and look at it. It doesn't qualify under Australian standards as a defect, we'll come back and fix it because it needs to be done.
Your aftercare is amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and it's maybe for other builders, because obviously I do a lot of due diligence. It's one of the main reasons you stay away from if they don't do the aftercare service. Two things, Fletcher, as I was thinking there. One is the inclusions and the actual type of inclusions, talking about the handover. And the other one that the clients actually really need to know is how organized you guys are at the beginning with your BA. So when the loan gets approved, you actually do start the process, because you also know that the we as a group and the brokers and the solicitors, we're all very good at communicating. But what's the advantage in that for the client?
So for us, deals very, very rarely fall over from unconditional. So clients waive finance up the deposits. They're effectively arranging the finer details for settlement. So that's generally at the fastest 2 weeks, generally can be a bit longer if there's refinances or something involved. But once it's unconditional, we'll pull the trigger in this building for the deal to be real. As in, it's a real build contract, it's going to go to site.
Yeah.
So we'll go do all our pre-site. The BA requirements, there's plumbing approvals, there's soil tests, there's all sorts of stuff that needs to happen before we go to site. A lot of builders will take that from the land settlement as to start there, but that, as I said, can be 2, 3, 4 weeks away from unconditional. So if we start that at uncon, yes, we're spending money and we're footing the cost for all those before we've received a build deposit or anything, but it just gives everyone a head start. We're going to do it anyway, and it just means that we can be on site sooner. The whole pre-site process, depending on where you are, can be 6 weeks. So to get that process as short as possible to allow, because as soon as the client settles on the block of land, you'll be telling them about land interest. You own the block now, you have your mortgages up to X amount, and this is your interest payments until, and then as the build progresses, the loan increases, and your target is getting it to that point where it's producing an income. That the dead bit is in the middle while we're building and this land is settled. So if we can do everything that we can to reduce that time frame and minimise the interest payments for your client, that's what we do. So yeah, we'll jump on it at unconditional and proceed with all of our pre-site and BA.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I think it's important for the client to actually realise you've got trust in us guys. Very rarely, I don't think I've ever known anyone not actually go through in all the years in business we've done, and that you've got faith and you actually do that, because they are paying interest on the land. We do offer, which is all tax deductible, but it's still moving the process through, and that we've got obviously the photos throughout the whole thing. Talk to me now about the inclusions. Do you do high end, middle, low end, and what does that mean to the client?
Yeah, so with our homework on the area, we've been building now for long enough that we know our core specifications, which is an appealing level of finish. So you're going to have a tenant wanting to live there, but it's also got a bit of robustness about it, I suppose. So you can take a bit of knocking and tenant proof. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best is the way that we look at it, right through from there's brands of appliances, warranties, after service sort of requirements, through to landscaping, where we won't put a manicured rose bush in the front of the house because you can't expect the tenant to go out there and prune it and look after it. So landscaping is, it's a minimal, low maintenance, appealing, but low maintenance garden. So so we kind of, and then that's kind of our standard specification, which does fit into most areas. Sometimes we'll be up, like right now we're doing some stuff on the Sunshine Coast with owner occupiers. So we've made it standard to have, a 1200 wide door and, a few high ceilings, bits and pieces that we put in there, which we know that the market is going to want and owner occupiers are generally choosing anyway. We've got investment properties in the Bayside area of Brisbane, so the southeast. There's air conditioners in all the bedrooms. There's kind of a few extra requirements there because that's what the market wants. Yeah. Same thing as if with our standard specification, a very good level. Like I said, we have to remember it's an investment property. So if we go putting marble tiles and water features as you walk in the front door into investment homes, you still might get $400 a week rent, but you've just spent $700,000 on a house. Yeah. So there's definitely a point there where your capital outlay to your return needs to match up, which it's more your department to us to mold that price in the build and house and land package so it suits the market compared for its rent, and it's got that optimal yield as opposed to the nicest house in the street, because yes, you might have the nicest house in the street, but your yield might end up at 3%.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely the build, the colours. You've definitely got it. It's not the most expensive, it's not the cheapest, but it's in the middle, and it does what it's supposed to do, which is great.
Yeah, the colour schemes, we've got, I think it's about 6 external, 6 internal, put together by a design consultant who, they're very appealing, modern. We update them every 6 or 12 months, but it's also very neutral. So we're not going to have tenants, deferring from that property because it's got a pink front door. It's all very neutral for allow tenants to go in there and make it their own with furniture and rugs and whatnot.
Yeah, no, sounds good. So if you were to describe UIFF to a potential client, how would you describe the services?
I would describe them as efficient, and it's kind of, you're very informative. So with all your clients that seem to come through to us, they know what they're getting, and they've been obviously sufficiently educated by yourself because they are knowledgeable people by the time they get to us. So it's a very, I suppose, again, back to your team as well, with your solicitors, the brokers, and yourself, everyone knows what the whole picture looks like. So it's a bit of a no fuss, no muss type thing, where there's no hypotheticals and what if it's bang, 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 bang. Everyone knows what's happening, knows the facts, knows the exact figures. Like your PIA, I think you call it, as you present it to the clients, it's got what this would look like. It's a very informative and direct process. So it's so it's very clean, informative, and efficient.
Yeah, and our welcome letter basically details all the referral partners as well, and who their main point of contact is. So I just want some building questions now. So just inquisitive, I know David has rescued a lot of companies that I would say that have gone south, meaning they're out of business. What do you believe is the main reason for that? Because a lot of clients go, obviously, tell me about the builder, and which we'll talk about licenses in a minute. But what are the main pitfalls that you see and why builders go broke and David rescues them?
Well, it's kind of, the work we've done in that space is more rescuing the clients, unfortunately, that have that the builder is no longer there, and we've either had to finish the house or start the build contract. So I haven't actually got to the dance floor yet. But back to the start, where Dave's making the business decisions. We see a lot of builders that are very good builders and are not very good businessmen.
Yeah.
Then we see builders that pop up out of nowhere. They're the latest and greatest, and everyone's talking about how good they are and how cheap it is. We have built enough homes each year in, year out, with the same materials, give or take, minor tweaks. We know what things cost. We know what labour costs. We know what the materials cost. Our business is built on a low margin, high volume. So we're not trying to make more or less on each deal. It's the same low margin across every deal. So we know exactly, everything's priced the same. We know what everything costs. So when we price a house at 250 grand and someone else says they're going to do it for 220 and it includes everything, it either doesn't, or the builder's doing it for free and they don't know it yet.
Yeah.
So, because unfortunately with building, you're paying invoices and works and money's coming in and out, and you don't actually know how much you've made until the end of a build. When last invoices come in from the client and you've stopped paying people for works on that house. Yeah. So people don't know they're not making money until the end, which is unfortunate. And Dave and I often say we'd rather go to the beach for free than build for free.
Absolutely.
We don't need the practice. And what it also means, if you start going down that path of chasing work aggressively with aggressive price points where you're just keeping things moving, there's the risk of we get into a few builds with which does happen to people. It might be at frame stage, enclosed, whatever it is, and the builder runs out of money, which is where we've had to step in at certain times. Because they've realised that money going in and out, there's more going out than there is coming in, and then it all comes to a screeching halt. Whereas we know what builds cost. We've done it enough now to know that we'll be here to finish your home, and we'll build your next one and the one after that, and we'll do it with efficient time. We'll do it, we're not cutting corners, so the quality's there, the process is still there. It's a tried and tested method and pricing model that we've got at the moment. So that's probably the main reason why builders don't succeed and don't continue, is because they just aren't as sure on their pricing, and they think because they're doing a lot of work means they're doing well, but until the music stops, you don't really know.
And it does lead us on to, which you actually mentioned, the cheaper products on online turnkey. So a lot of people go on realestate.com. I mean, it's brilliant. We're in an era of technology, and but the thing is, and I'm getting a lot of it in my business, because my business is completely online, and we're advertising a little bit on Facebook, and it's incredible how people are putting adverts like, if you buy a property and in 6 months it's grown in capital growth this much, and put a beautiful picture of a property, and with this, you get this and this and this, and it's not really a fixed price contract. There's a lot of misleading information out there.
Yeah, I do deal with this question I'm not going to say most days, but definitely every week. The ads come in, especially when you're building an estate that might have a display home, a display village. People will research that estate and they'll find these ads because that's what pops up. That's retail builders' marketing strategy, is that be the cheapest, be the most appealing. Because you imagine walking down a display village and there's 20 different builders, 40 homes, and you're going to pick a builder because you've got a block of land in the next street. You have to grab them off the street. You have to have something to grab them. It's the same thing on the internet. If you're trolling through ads, the main thing that grabs people is price first. It might be a beautiful home, but couple a beautiful home with a ridiculously cheap price, and that's their strategy. So unfortunately, beside a lot of those prices, it even says, and you read about it all the time, retail builders being sued for misleading marketing. There'll be the fixed price contract with an asterisk beside it. It might have 10 lineal meters of fencing included and 3 square meters of turf. When there's 60 square meters of turf and there's 80 square meters of lineal meters of fencing. So that's where the costs get added on. All of our packages are fixed price because it's more direct. You're talking to clients about what your capital outlay is going to be and what the return is going to be. Imagine if you get a package from us and it's 400,000, girls go away and they make sure the clients can afford it and the best banking product and everything for 400,000. Your rent's going to be this much, and then this is what it's all going to look like, and then you come back and you can't rent it out yet because you have to spend another 25 grand on landscaping, fencing, window furnishings, carpet. It's like, it's got to go all.
And they can't get the finance for it because they just maxed out. So they
exactly, get funding or use cash, and then it's just not our model. Even with our first home buyers, everything's included. They can change stuff and they can make certain improvements to the home, whether it be ducted air conditioning or whatever. But everything we've priced in has got everything priced in. Every time we give them a price, that's to finish the home in the same fashion that we finish investment properties, which is window furnishings, landscaping, carpets, kitchen appliances, dishwasher. You get a set of keys at the end and bring your furniture in. So it's just a simpler method, but we do deal with all the time that how come this builder is building a 4-bedroom, 200 square meter home for $100,000. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, here we go. Let's start from the top.
Wow.
and run through the whole process again, because it is just it's their marketing strategy. So
yeah. And unfortunately, people are unaware of it. And most importantly, it's like 4 or 5 of them in an estate, and they've not got the lawns done or the blinds in.
Yeah. I just yesterday I was driving around some new areas looking for land on the north side of Brisbane, and you drive through these lovely owner-occupier estates, and there's homes with a driveway and beautiful home, and it's got dirt up the sides. There's no grass. It just looks like no landscaping at all, and
wow.
Weeds that are 1.5 foot high, and it's like, okay, well, they didn't have landscaping in their contract, and they've got to the point where they've maybe thought everything was included all the way through, and don't have 20 grand in the bank to go and finish it all. So there would be definitely some horror stories out there, and it's not hard to find them when you're driving around.
Wow. How many builds would you say you do each year?
Between so the townhouses, the retirement villages, building in Queensland, Sydney, and New South Wales and Victoria, somewhere between year in year out, between 300 and 400, I'd say, depending on what's going on.
That's a big scale from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. And I suppose I'm just looking at my criteria that I've got for a builder. So for me personally, what I look for in a builder, and I don't take it lightly as well, because my clients are putting their trust in me. And what's very important for me to ask you is that you're going to build on time, that we've got clear communication on the build handover, that the aftercare service, which you and I've mentioned, you do the valuations, which we do up front. It's very, very important, the actual the costing of the project, the inclusions, the handover, and that you hold the appropriate building licenses like HIA and QBCC. Why are they important to the consumer?
Licensing, I suppose, is accountability in the first instance. So we have criteria to build to. We have to build to certain standards, Australian standards. So you know that if you're building with a licensed builder, you are getting a level of quality guaranteed. Certain avenues to go down to assure that is complete to the quality that is the Australian standards. I suppose the other thing is, like we spoke about, us coming in and taking over some work from other builders. Luckily, they were registered builders with the QBCC or the HIA, and we've come in and taken over that work. So if for whatever reason we are building your client's home and the world ends and we do fall over and we can't pay the bills, it allows another builder to come in and someone else appoint another builder, or the QBCC to appoint another builder, and they come in and finish the home to the same standard for the same price. So it's very important. It's more I suppose relevant in like the renovation space. There's a lot of sort of building cowboys getting around, but definitely when you're doing a home, you definitely want to make sure that your builders are licensed correctly, for sure, and insurances are in place.
I totally agree. We're nearly done. I just want to ask you, what do you enjoy most about working at Golden Grove?
I enjoy most about it is...
Besides Melbourne Cup Day that you just had.
Yeah, I was actually pretty well behaved. I enjoy coming here because I suppose it's run like a small business. Although we've now got 3 levels, 1,200 square metres of office and 60 odd staff, technically it would be a large company to a lot of people, but it's run like a small business. So anyone, all doors are open. It's a very high communication style business. So there's always people running around like an ant's nest, talking to people and bouncing things off each other. And I suppose it all comes from back to the top, where Dave's door's always open, or his mobile's always there. So it's always it's a very enjoyable place to work. It's not a very corporate environment. It's more of a relaxed environment, but everyone focuses on doing their own piece. Like I say about the builders, brokers, lawyers, yourself doing what they do right. It's the same on a small level in here. You've got many different departments, and we do have them all internally here. We some builders use the overseas drafties or whatever it might be to draw things, but we have all departments in this building above me, because it means you can just walk and talk to people and ask them questions, or can you change that? The clients just ask if you can do this, can you swap that around? It's just so much easier.
Absolutely.
So having that sort of environment where it's not a corporate. I don't wear you can't see, I'm just wearing jeans under here. It's a very relaxed environment where
Glad you're not wearing a skirt.
you never know. It's only Thursday. It's a very relaxed environment, but everyone is very professional in what they do, and everyone's very good at what they do. So it makes it a lot easier to do your own bit right when everyone else is doing their bit around you.
Yeah, and goodness me, since I've been doing business with you, hardly anybody's moved, and just you've all gone with all the different scaling of the business and the different growth, and I remember you moving building, and I've come to your building. It's absolutely amazing. It's very open plan, and it really does resemble Golden Grove, like the colours, and you've got your own display in there, which is brilliant, and your own building, which is very good.
Yep, very functional.
It is very functional. And last and final question, Mr. Fletcher.
Yes.
What's important about the mission statement of Golden Grove that basically resonates with your own personal purpose in life?
What are we? Building for life, build for life. I would say it is, we're here to do it for a long time, I suppose. And no one's here just to, make a quick buck or do it for a little bit and, just go try something else. We're building, well, like yourself, yourself personally, I think we've built 8 homes for you. We've got many clients that have got 3, 4, 5, 6 properties with us, because we intend on building the next one for them and the next one for them. We structure ourselves in a pretty low exposure environment where we can be sure we're going to be here tomorrow, and we go about things, I suppose, not cautiously, but we try and make educated and don't move erratically, but move purposefully. Yeah. And because there's a lot of different environments popping up at the moment with different products and different concepts of building. And it's just a matter of staying in our lane and doing something that we know we can do. We're licensed to build, high-rise buildings, and there's supervisors that work for us that have done that before, but it's not what we do. So if we did go and contract and build a high-rise building, it's going to bounce off every wall in here because no one else is going to know what's going on. We're going to let the client down. It's going to be, a basket case. So we choose not to do that, even though there might be a $50 million build contract waving in our face, which we have had proposals from high-rise developers, but because we've done other product for them and done it well, so then those guys, well, can you do this for us? And the answer is no, because it's just not going to. It's not us. We know we can build this. We know we can do it well, and we know we can do it in 10 years' time because we'll still be here doing it. So I suppose that resonates with me by way of I enjoy coming here. I'm comfortable coming here. Get on well with everyone here. So I know you're coming here for for a long time, and it's everyone's here for the same reason. So it's a good. So it's building for life. Same thing. Yeah, we're building your home. Yeah. The next one. We're going to be here for a while. We're not just fly by night.
Long-term relationships. Hey, it's building that integrity and support, and and like you said, it's and I can imagine the growth that you've had over the time within the business with all the experts around you, just at Golden Grove, just the how you've grown personally. Because I know as I'm one of your clients that refers business to you, but I've learned so much from you guys as well. You're always sharing information, the build, the areas, what's ever going on in legislation with builds. So it's very, very important to have a team that informs you of all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Fletcher, I want to say thank you very much for your time.
No worries.
Thank you for waxing your eyebrows and doing your hair for us.
putting on a shirt and a skirt.
All right, lovely. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Have a great day.
You too.
See ya.
See ya.